I get why you want an i3, but I think the range extender is the wrong one to buy. Instead, I think you should buy the slightly later car without the range extender, but with the slightly larger battery.
They promised a silent revolution. Cars that never needed oil changes, never belched smoke, and cost pennies to run. But for thousands of EV owners, that dream has turned into a daily headache. From batteries that die too soon to software that crashes mid-drive, these once futuristic machines are now stories of frustration and regret. Today, we're counting down 13 electric cars that owners already wish they'd never bought. And some of these names might surprise you. Number 13. Chevrolet Bolt EV. When the Chevrolet Bolt first hit the market, it looked like the perfect answer to Tesla's early dominance. Compact, affordable, and capable of over 200 miles per charge. It was supposed to prove that everyday Americans could finally own an electric car without breaking the bank. For a while, it did exactly that. Reviewers praised its range, smooth handling, and practicality. But then, everything changed. In 2020, reports started surfacing of Bolts catching fire, even while parked. General Motors eventually recalled every single Bolt ever made the culprit. Faulty battery cells supplied by LG. Owners were told not to charge their cars overnight, not to park them indoors, and not to charge above 90%. Imagine buying a brand new car and being told it might burn your garage down. Even after replacements and software updates, many owners said performance felt throttled, range dropped, and resale values tanked. What was once a $37,000 eco-statement quickly turned into a financial nightmare. Some insurance companies even refused to cover it at normal rates due to the fire history. And when production stopped in 2023, resale prices fell even further. The Bolt EV's story is a painful reminder. In the electric age, it's not horsepower that kills a car's reputation. It's chemistry number 12. Nissan Leaf. When the Nissan Leaf launched in 2010, it was hailed as the future, the first truly mainstream electric car. It gave early adopters the chance to ditch gasoline forever. For a while, it worked. The Leaf was quiet, smooth, and reliable around town. But over time, owners discovered a fatal flaw. The battery couldn't handle heat or time. Unlike newer EVs, the Leaf didn't have a proper thermal management system. That meant in warmer states, the battery would degrade shockingly fast. Owners began noticing they'd lost a third of their range after just a couple of summers. A car that once went 100 miles per charge could suddenly only manage 60 or 70. And that's if you babied it. Nissan's response? It's normal. But for people who'd invested in the early EV dream, it didn't feel normal. It felt like betrayal. Replacing the battery could cost more than the value of the entire car. And with no fast charging support in many areas, the Leaf quickly became impractical. Even newer generations with slightly improved batteries couldn't fully shake the stigma. The car's CHAdeMO charging port became obsolete as networks switched to CCS, leaving Leaf owners stranded with outdated plugs. It's a sad story, the pioneer that paved the way for EVs, but got left behind by progress. For many owners, the Leaf's name became ironic. It didn't stay green for long. Number 11. Volkswagen ID.4. The Volkswagen ID.4 was supposed to mark VW's redemption, the company's clean break from the Dieselgate scandal. A family-friendly, all-electric SUV with German engineering and futuristic design on paper, it looked perfect. In reality, not so much. From the beginning, owners complained about frustrating software issues. The infotainment system would freeze, reboot mid-drive, or randomly refuse to connect to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Updates were promised over the air, but in many cases, that meant waiting months for fixes that barely worked. Then there was the driving experience. While comfortable, it wasn't particularly engaging, and in cold weather, the range could drop by 30 to 40%. Some drivers even reported total system shutdowns, leaving them stuck until the car decided to wake up again. Early recalls for faulty drive units and battery management systems didn't help either. VW dealerships, still adjusting to EV servicing, often kept cars for weeks while waiting for replacement parts. In short, the ID.4 turned out to be less the people's car and more the people's headache. For buyers expecting German precision, the experience felt unfinished, and for many, the regret set in fast. Number 10. Ford Mustang Mach-E. When Ford unveiled the Mustang Mach-E, it was clear the company wanted to make a statement. The Mustang was going electric, and the future looked fast. The styling was bold, the power impressive, and the Mustang name gave it instant credibility. For a while, excitement overshadowed skepticism. But soon, owners began to realize the Mach-E wasn't the flawless electric muscle car they were promised. The most common complaint? Charging problems. Many owners found that DC fast charging speeds dropped dramatically after a few sessions, sometimes taking nearly twice as long as advertised. Others reported the car refusing to charge altogether until a full software reset was performed, sometimes more than once in a single week. Then came the infamous battery contactor failure, a defect that caused some Mach-Es to lose power completely. While driving, Ford eventually recalled tens of thousands of cars to fix the issue, but owners were left waiting months for parts. Some dealerships didn't even have certified technicians to handle EV repairs, forcing long tows to distant service centers. Beyond the mechanical woes, owners complained about glitchy touchscreens, phantom warning lights, and sudden loss of regenerative braking. A few even described the car as a beta version sold at full price. It's a shame, because the Mach-E got so much right: striking design, good range, and a solid chassis. But Ford's software and support systems lagged behind the promise. What was supposed to be an icon of the electric age turned into a cautionary tale. Sometimes, heritage names can't save you from new tech headaches. Number 9. Rivian R1T. The Rivian R1T was one of the most exciting electric vehicles to ever debut. A futuristic adventure truck with quad motors, jaw-dropping acceleration, and off-road capability that made traditional pickups look ancient. Early reviewers called it revolutionary. Early buyers called it love at first sight. Then came reality. Rivian's startup charm quickly wore thin as owners began reporting a laundry list of issues. Some trucks arrived with misaligned body panels, rattling trim, or mismatched paint. Software updates often broke as many features as they fixed, including vital ones like driver assist systems and charging logic. Then there were the range inconsistencies. Despite the advertised 300-plus miles, many drivers barely managed 250 under normal conditions, and significantly less when towing or driving in the cold. Charging, especially on non-Rivian stations, could be painfully unreliable. Owners also shared stories of lengthy service delays. With limited repair centers, even minor issues required cross-country shipping or waiting weeks for mobile technicians. For a $70,000 plus truck, that's not a great look. Still, most agree the R1T is a technological marvel. But when a vehicle spends more time waiting for updates than driving adventures, regret is inevitable. Early adopters didn't just buy a truck. They joined a long, expensive software testing program. Number 8. Tesla Model Y. The Tesla Model Y became an instant bestseller. Sleek, spacious, and equipped with performance numbers that made traditional SUVs look outdated overnight. It was the car that turned many gas drivers into EV believers. But once the initial thrill faded, regret started creeping in for thousands of owners who realized the Model Y's futuristic promise came with old-fashioned frustrations. The first major issue? Build quality. Owners began posting photos of uneven panel gaps, misaligned doors, loose trim, and paint defects on cars that cost over $60,000. Many even found water leaks after rain, rattling dashboards, or wind noise at highway speeds. Tesla's fast production ramp-up simply didn't leave enough time for perfecting quality control. Then came the phantom braking problem, a terrifying glitch where the car's autopilot would suddenly brake for no reason. On highways, this led to several near collisions. Tesla promised software fixes, but the issue persisted across multiple updates. Service delays made things worse. Tesla's service centers were overwhelmed, with some owners waiting weeks or even months for appointments. Mobile service visits sometimes fixed minor problems, but left bigger ones pending indefinitely. And while over-the-air updates were supposed to make life easier, many owners found them unpredictable. Features added one week, removed the next, or entirely changing how basic controls worked. Some updates even introduced new bugs, forcing multiple resets. Despite its blistering acceleration and impressive tech, the Model Y's ownership experience left many feeling like they were part of an experiment, not a product. For every driver who loved their Tesla, there seemed to be another who said, "I wish I'd waited until they fixed the basics." Number 7. Hyundai Kona Electric. The Hyundai Kona Electric started off strong. Good range, solid efficiency, and a reputation for reliability borrowed from its gas-powered sibling. It looked like the sensible EV choice for practical buyers. But beneath its friendly design, trouble was brewing. In 2020, a series of battery fires sent shockwaves through Hyundai's customer base. The company had to recall over 80,000 Konas worldwide, replacing expensive battery packs due to defects that could cause them to ignite. For months, owners were told not to park indoors or charge overnight, a déjà vu of the Chevy Bolt crisis. Even after the recall, many reported that their cars felt different. Charging times increased, range seemed lower, and battery management software limited performance. Some said it felt like their Kona had been neutered to prevent further problems. Then came winter. Owners in colder climates noticed drastic range loss, sometimes dropping from 250 miles to barely 160. Heating the cabin took a big toll on the small battery, and charging speeds plummeted in freezing temperatures. Hyundai's dealer network, not fully equipped for EV servicing, only added frustration. Wait times for replacement parts stretched into months, and many customers were left with temporary loaners. The Kona Electric was meant to be a trustworthy gateway to EV life, but for many, it became a source of stress. Despite Hyundai's best efforts, the memory of fire risks and battery downgrades left owners wary and disappointed. Number 6. Polestar 2. When the Polestar 2 arrived, it felt like a fresh breeze in the EV world. Minimalist Scandinavian design, built on Volvo's safety legacy, and powered by Google's slick Android automotive OS, it looked like the perfect blend of elegance and intelligence. For many buyers, it seemed like a refined alternative to Tesla. But soon, the ownership experience told a very different story. Almost immediately, reports started surfacing about software instability. Owners experienced random infotainment crashes, frozen displays, and backup cameras that stopped working mid-reverse. Some cars wouldn't even start without a full system reboot, something that, in an EV, feels almost comically ironic. Over-the-air updates were meant to fix these problems, but often made them worse or failed to install altogether. Then there was the range issue. Polestar claimed up to 270 miles, but in real-world driving, especially on highways or in winter, many owners barely managed 200. Add in the relatively slow DC charging curve, and long road trips became an exercise in patience. And while the car's interior quality was undeniably premium, the ownership experience wasn't. With Polestar being a relatively new brand, service centers were few and far between, forcing owners to drive hundreds of miles for basic repairs. Parts availability was inconsistent, and communication from customer support felt sluggish and vague. Even small issues, like rattling door panels or charging port malfunctions, took weeks to resolve. The frustration compounded when resale values plummeted faster than expected, partly due to limited brand recognition and uncertainty about the company's long-term stability. The Polestar 2 is a beautiful machine that drives well, but for many, it became a lesson that beauty and practicality don't always mix. When your luxury EV needs regular software restarts just to move, regret soon replaces admiration. Number 5. Tesla Model 3. The Tesla Model 3 changed the auto industry. It made EVs mainstream, offered incredible acceleration, and promised a future of self-driving convenience. But after years on the road, many owners are realizing that the Model 3's magic wears off. And fast. First, there's the build quality déjà vu: loose panels, rattling trim, and inconsistent paint. Despite Tesla's years of production, early issues never fully disappeared. Owners still report uneven panel gaps and misaligned trunks, sometimes even after multiple service visits. Then there's comfort, or rather, the lack of it. The ride quality is harsh, especially on rough roads. Tesla prioritized performance over suspension refinement, leaving owners describing long drives as tiring. The minimalist cabin, while futuristic, feels cold and Spartan to many, lacking the tactile satisfaction of traditional luxury sedans. Software is another sore point. Frequent updates mean features come and go, from how autopilot behaves to how climate controls are accessed. Some drivers even lost functions like lumbar support or ultrasonic sensors due to cost-cutting updates. And Tesla's infamous phantom braking issue continues to haunt both Model 3 and Model Y drivers alike. There's also the issue of resale value erosion. Tesla's repeated price cuts have hurt existing owners, dropping used values by tens of thousands overnight. Imagine waking up to find your car worth 30% less because of a company announcement. The Model 3 remains a technological milestone, but many owners feel like they paid to be beta testers in an unfinished ecosystem. What was once the symbol of progress has, for some, become a daily reminder that innovation without refinement can leave you wishing you'd stayed traditional. Number 4. Fisker Ocean. When the Fisker Ocean was unveiled, it promised to be everything a modern electric SUV should be. Sustainable materials, a massive solar roof, class-leading range, and bold California styling. It looked like a game-changer for a new generation of eco-conscious drivers. But as deliveries finally began, that dream quickly unraveled into what many owners now describe as a nightmare on wheels. From day one, reports of software failures began flooding forums and social media. The digital instrument cluster would glitch, the infotainment screen would freeze, and in some cases, the entire car would lock owners out, refusing to start. Some drivers even said the car bricked itself overnight after an update failure, leaving them stranded with a $70,000 paperweight doors malfunctioned, cameras failed mid-drive, and advanced driver assist systems randomly disengaged. The company's mobile app, meant to be a seamless digital key, often refused to connect. Even basic features like regenerative braking and drive modes behaved erratically. Fisker's small service network couldn't keep up, forcing owners to wait weeks just to get diagnostics, let alone repairs. The chaos reached its peak when reports emerged that Fisker had stopped responding to support tickets entirely. Some customers waited months for refunds or replacement parts. Others described being ghosted by the company after serious safety complaints. As financial troubles worsened, dealership support evaporated, leaving many owners with vehicles they couldn't drive or sell. It's one of the fastest collapses of trust in the EV world. The Fisker Ocean went from hype to heartbreak almost overnight, proving that futuristic design and glossy marketing can't save a company from technical chaos. For those who believed they were driving the future, it turned out to be a very expensive experiment that ended before it ever began. Number 3. BMW i3. When the BMW i3 debuted back in 2013, it was ahead of its time. Lightweight carbon fiber body, futuristic looks, and zippy electric torque. It was BMW's first real step into the electric future. But fast forward a decade, and the same car that once looked like a spaceship now feels like a relic. The first issue? Range. Early models barely managed 80 miles on a full charge, less if you used the heater or air conditioning. Even later versions that stretched to 150 miles couldn't compete once newer EVs hit the market. For a premium brand like BMW, that shortfall felt unacceptable, especially for owners used to long-distance luxury. Then came the cost of ownership. Replacement parts, particularly the battery and unique carbon fiber panels, were outrageously expensive. Many owners found that after just a few years, repairing even moderate damage wasn't worth it. Insurance rates climbed, resale values tanked, and the i3's quirky looks didn't help on the used market. The car's interior, while initially charming, also divided opinion. The eco-friendly materials aged poorly, and the rear-hinged suicide doors that once looked cool turned out to be a daily inconvenience. And as more charging standards evolved, the i3's older charging setup felt outdated fast. Even though the i3 was a bold experiment that showcased BMW's innovation, many owners eventually realized they'd paid luxury money for what felt like a short-range city car. It's not that the i3 was bad, it was just too weird, too limited, and too expensive to maintain in the long run. Regret came not from failure, but from realizing they were driving a prototype of what the EV world would later perfect. Number 2. Lucid Air. When the Lucid Air launched, it was hailed as the EV that could finally challenge Tesla's dominance in the luxury segment. With stunning design, a massive range of over 500 miles, and acceleration that could rival supercars, it looked like the ultimate electric dream. But for many who actually bought one, that dream started to unravel quickly. The first and most glaring issue? Software instability. Owners reported everything from frozen infotainment systems to randomly rebooting driver displays. In some cases, essential functions like the climate control or backup camera simply stopped working until the entire car was rebooted, sometimes multiple times in a single drive. Considering this is a six-figure luxury sedan, it didn't sit well with customers expecting perfection. Then there were quality control issues. Misaligned panels, squeaky trims, and unfinished seals were surprisingly common for a car built to compete with Mercedes and Porsche. Even more concerning, several owners reported sensor malfunctions that caused blind spot warnings, adaptive cruise control, and driver assist features to fail without warning. Charging, too, wasn't always smooth. While the Lucid Air could technically charge very fast, the system often struggled to communicate properly with public fast chargers. Long-distance travel, a key selling point, became unpredictable. Some owners even described charging sessions as a gamble. Lucid's customer service also became a sore point. Limited service centers meant lengthy waits, and replacement parts were often delayed. Combined with the company's ongoing financial troubles and production cuts, many owners began to worry about the long-term support for their vehicles, and their resale value plummeted accordingly. It's a painful reality. The Lucid Air is breathtaking to look at, exhilarating to drive, and groundbreaking in range. Yet its reliability and support network leave owners wondering if they bought the future too soon. For a car meant to define luxury, too many owners feel like they paid top dollar for unfinished software. Number 1. Tesla Cybertruck. When Tesla finally delivered the first Cybertrucks, it felt like history in the making. The truck had been teased for years. Stainless steel armor, bulletproof glass, and futuristic design unlike anything else on the road. But as the first owners drove off the lot, the hype began to fade, replaced by an avalanche of regret. The first issue was build quality. The unpainted stainless steel panels looked cool, but were nearly impossible to keep clean. Fingerprints, smudges, and scratches showed instantly. The sharp edges made washing the truck difficult, and the heavy doors required significant effort to close. Fit and finish varied wildly from one vehicle to another. Then came practicality problems. The truck's massive size made it hard to park or maneuver in tight spaces. Visibility was poor due to small windows and thick pillars, and the ride quality was stiff and bouncy, more sci-fi tank than pickup truck. Despite its tough image, towing and payload numbers didn't quite live up to the bold promises from Tesla's early presentations. Owners also discovered charging headaches. Because of its enormous battery, even Tesla superchargers struggled to refill it quickly. Road trips took much longer than expected, and real-world range fell far below the advertised figures, especially when towing or using accessories. Software bugs, inconsistent build quality, and frustrating service experiences only made things worse. Some owners even reported malfunctioning door handles, stuck frunks, and steering issues. Add to that the steep depreciation and lack of aftermarket support, and the Cybertruck went from dream machine to driveway regret in record time. For many early adopters, the Cybertruck isn't just an EV. It's a reminder that being first isn't always being right. It's bold, bizarre, and undeniably eye-catching. But for those who actually own one, the futuristic fantasy has given way to a daily struggle of compromises. Electric vehicles were supposed to simplify driving. Fewer moving parts, less maintenance, no more gas stations. But as these stories show, the reality of early EV ownership can be messy, expensive, and deeply frustrating. For every flawless EV on the market, there are others still finding their footing. And too often, the buyer ends up being the tester. If you're considering an EV, take your time, do the research, and don't let flashy marketing or bold promises sway your decision. The best electric cars will come from patience, not impulse. So, which of these cars would you still take a chance on? Or which one did you dodge just in time? Let me know in the comments below.